So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. This is Pixelia here, and I'm with Nikki Fuego, Lady Fuego.
Hello.
She is an amazing Decentraland creator. She is the mind behind Roomway,
Yep.
and we're excited to have you here, Nikki. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you for
us.
having me. I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's been a while since I've been on camera.
You look gorgeous, so
Thank you.
it's good. So, just to begin, like, regardless of who you are, once you sit on my chair, you're always gonna get asked the same first question, like the game starter. How
Sure.
was it that you came to acquire your first crypto coin, and how did that process led you to the Central End?
So, very random.
Mm.
So I acquired Dogecoin back in like 2017, 2018, around there.
Mhm.
And I was working at a call center at the time, and one of my bosses was really into crypto and Robinhood, and I had no idea what any of that meant. But he was making some good money, so I was like, okay, I'll follow suit. And so I bought my first, like, I think I spent like $200 on Dogecoin then, and it was like pennies, so I got a lot. And then I didn't really dabble too much into crypto for like the next 2 years after that. And then all of a sudden, it started blowing up the day that it was going to be on SNL, and I ended up cashing out then because I was like, I don't know what this is going to do, so I'm just going to cash out while it's got some money in it. And it's crazy because like I only put $200 in and I made a lot more than that back. It was great. And then I was like, okay, so like if I could do that on a coin that I had no knowledge about or anything, and it just randomly happened, I should really look into what crypto is and the whole realm of crypto. And so I spent a good like year and a half researching and learning about the coins in general and like crypto technology as a whole. And then I
Uh-huh.
randomly saw like a sandbox advertisement on Twitter because I had been doing so much crypto that now crypto stuff was starting to come onto my feed. And I tried Sandbox, and at the time they were doing like this alpha intro where it was like you had to pay to get a pass to get in after playing for 24 hours. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm not like here to pay for playing a game like that. So I looked for other metaverses, and Decentraland was the first one that I found. And of course, I immediately jumped in. It was free, everything. Like I just jumped right in my browser. And then within minutes, I was meeting people. I was having conversations. I was learning about it. Somebody had sent me my first wearable the first day that I logged in. And the rest is history, girl. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it sounds like you met someone fun on your first day. Who was it that sent you your first werewolf?
So his name was Peace Dog, and he was originally when he first was there, he was doing content streaming at the casino at DG,
Hmm.
and he was just showing new people all the different games and what there is to do on Decentraland. And the first wearable he sent me was actually a backwards hat by Dr. Drip, and so
Oh, that's dope.
I
Like
immediately became a Dr. Drip fan.
yeah, I can relate to that. I'm a huge fan myself as well.
Yeah, it was a
So,
great experience.
uh, and this was your very first the Central Line experience,
Yeah,
based on
and
what you're telling
literally
me.
he just took me around to he took me to parcel parties, showed
Oh,
me
that's
what they
dope.
did with Stony Eye, and then we ended up going back to Wonder Mine, and Dr. Drip was there, and I started fangirling. I was like, "Oh my god, I just got your wearable. You're the Dr. Drip." And he just started explaining wearables to me and everything, and I was like, this is crazy that people can just come on here, make a wearable, and then sell it on the marketplace and have other people wear it in game immediately. Like I was immediately hooked.
Yeah, it is like, at least if you're a gamer, like that first experience, it seems to me that your first experience has been one of the most amazing stories I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can get you hooked really fast and really strong into the Central End.
Yeah, that was in November of 2021, and then I made
Oh,
my first wearable in December of 2021. So like literally not
a
even a
month
month into the
after.
platform.
Yeah, you just dove in.
Yeah, I was like, I want to do this. Like, let's go. Let's do it.
um did you have previous knowledge on Blender and
I had a little bit of Blender knowledge just because I have a 3D printer, and so I would make a lot of prints, like just random prints that I would find online, and I'd be like, "Oh, I want to make that." Made some
Uh-huh.
stuff for the apartment, like hooks and stuff, and so I had a general idea, but I knew nothing about like creating wearables or creating geometry or anything like that. And I actually found KJ Walker's video tutorials and watched those, and that's what really set me up for my whole wearable careers because she went through the whole process of how to make it, what to do, all the settings, how to export it, and like I said, from there it was gone, smooth sailing.
Yeah. Plus, KJ has done an amazing job for the community documenting that process
Yes,
and really simplifying it so that even someone who has zero knowledge can really digest it easily, you know. So
yeah, and it came full
shout
circle
out.
because now she's like one of my mentors. Like she teaches me things all the time. We're really good friends now. It's crazy. The world is so weird.
Yeah, it is. It is. Shout out to KJ. I really
Yes, big shout
appreciate
out.
her as well. So, well, that pretty much covers the your first wearable.
Yep.
But since you launched your first wearable, I kind of saw this on the sidelines. You snowballed into this year like a, you know, like a force of nature, and just like werewolves all over the place, and then Broomway.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit more about that process.
So like I've been a gamer my whole life, and so I've played every MMORPG out there. I've played every first person shooter. I've played everything. And the biggest thing that always stuck out to me was being able to customize your avatar, being able to express yourself through a digital identity, and then also creating or collecting mounts in games. So like World of Warcraft had a lot of mounts that were like rideables that you could
Mm-hmm.
ride and stuff, and a whole bunch of games had those. And any game that I played that had those, I was my goal to collect as many as I could. And so I've always had that fascination. And as soon as they introduced skins, I was like, why hasn't anybody made a car wearable? Like I want to ride around Decentraland in my car. I don't want to walk everywhere. And so that's what birthed the Vroom Vrooms, the original Vroom Vrooms. And that one was kind of controversial and taboo, caused quite a bit of stir because
Yeah.
nobody had done that yet. And then it was starting to break the fundamentals of what the creative team at Decentraland wanted to have for wearables. And so they stopped allowing car wearables after the second one that I got through. So I was like, okay, well, if I can't make them as wearables anymore, the only other way to make this is to code it into a game. I don't have any programming knowledge, but I know people in this space that do. And people seem to really like these Vroom Vrooms and love the whole brand of Vroom Vroom. So that's when I started talking to Doc and a couple other my friends and started brainstorming this whole idea of having a video game. And that was like the thing that people were doing then, was making games for people to play on Decentraland because there wasn't a ton to do other than Wondermine and the casino and stuff at the time. And so all these
Mm-hmm.
games were popping up, and we are like, let's make a racing game. Like there isn't a racing game out there. Let's do it. And literally the whole team came together, went to the DAO, got approved, and here we are a year and a half later.
A year and a half later, it's like that in crypto time is like 47 and a half years.
Literally, it's what it's felt like.
Yeah, it's like the Inception movie, like third layer of the dream,
Literally.
time lapse type
I
of
always
thing.
tell people in real life, I'm like, I always at the end of the week, I'm like, man, it's been a really long month, and they're like, it's been a week, and I'm like, no, it's been a month in the
No,
crypto world.
it's been a month. Yeah, and sometimes in a day, it's like it's not enough to process all the information you're getting.
Right, right,
So you put together a team. Let's focus on that for a second because um, but I always liked like building a timeline to
yeah,
try to understand the process that people went through, and it seems to me that this is in your very early stages of the Central end when you decided to put a team together
yep,
and just pursue the you know the game making
yeah,
Broomway project. You know, it's an ambitious goal the way I see it.
very,
You know, especially if you're so new in the space.
yes.
So how was the selection process for you? Like, how did you decide? Did you decide who to go to? Like, talk to me about the process because you know that there's a bunch of people in the Central end, but it seems to me that you chose correctly.
Yeah,
So
so I always tell people the universe made everything happen, because like I just kind of put myself out there and things just kind of fell into place. And what really like led the momentum is right after Fashion Week. It was the first Fashion Week that I participated in. It was a huge year, and I did a bunch of collaborations, and I kind of just got my name out there as like somebody who wants to create skins. And so that's where I just started going to parties. And then I started having parties of my own to celebrate the vroom vrooms and stuff. And whenever I have parties and events like that, I love meeting new people. I love networking, just, figuring out who people are, what they do, what their thing is on the platform. And I got acquainted with a whole bunch of different creators, specifically Dr. Drip. That's when we started meeting, was at the parties and stuff. And he's one of the people too that, like, when I first came in, gave me a lot of advice on how to be a creator in Decentraland, and really how to be somebody who's a public figure in that small area. I know it's weird to say because it's such a small community, but it is being in the public eye and talking to the public and doing these events and stuff. And so he really helped me with that. And he was always in Wondermind. He was always in these other games, like making sure everybody was having a good time, helping onboard new people as well. And so I saw him as like the community guy. And so I had that in the back of my head. And then I started meeting the people that did the stateless roads and have like the stateless express billboards. So I met Stateless, and I met NeoCyber, who's one of his developers. And I started talking to them, getting to know them, and started asking questions of like, so how do you create a game in Decentraland? And like, started that whole brainstorm. And once I had an idea of like, okay, I definitely would have the support, because everybody was telling me that I need to make Vroom Vrooms like a whole thing. So it's like, I definitely have a community support. I just have to find a team. And the first people that came to mind was Doc, because he knows how the people in this community work. He knows how to make sure that they have the best experience possible. And so I knew that I needed that. And he's a car lover, like IRL. He's got a decked out Honda that looks amazing, like very custom. Like, he's a very, very much a gearhead. So I was like, okay, if we're making racing games, he's got to be on the team. And then NeoCyber was making games for a bunch of other people. Like, he helped Knights of Antrim get started when they were on that small 3x3 build.
Yeah.
And he was helping a bunch of different projects. So I asked him if he would help us with ours too. And he said yes. And like I said, things just kind of like fell into place. People just started supporting, and it was crazy. It happened so fast. Like, literally all that happened within a span of like 3 months, which again is like 6 years in
Yeah.
time, but still, like, it was pretty quick.
Right now is season 4 for Broomway, right?
Yep, we just finished season 4, and we have those
Just
roughly every 2-3 months.
I am proud to say that I was finally able to play Broomworm because
Yes.
my computer wouldn't allow me to. I had
Yeah.
a crappy ass computer that only allowed me to run through the Decentraland, but it wouldn't load the games or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I managed to get my like solo springs.
Yep.
That's what I've been trying to master, the controls. It's kind of a new thing for me to game in the Decentraland.
Yeah.
I could only play poker, but I really enjoyed it. But talk to me a little bit about this season things. Like how did you come up with this idea of bringing in the seasons for the Broomway, let's say, business model?
Yeah. So one thing that we noticed in Decentraland in general is there are a good amount of gamers, like people who are used to playing console games and PC games and stuff like that. And gaming in Decentraland is very different from those. And it's very centered around leaderboards and like competition. Like, people are always trying to be the best and always trying to be on the number one of any leaderboard, no matter what game it's at. They want to be number one if it has a leaderboard. And so we're like, okay, well, how can we take leaderboards to the next step other than just having a bunch of leaderboards, which we do in the main lobby? What's the next step? And so we thought about doing just tournaments, which we started with soul sprint tournaments, where we did like a week-long tournament, and whoever had the highest time at the end of the week got like a trophy. We did that for the top 10 people. And then the first place person got some additional materials and coins for the game. And so those went over really well. And so, like, okay, well, let's take this past the initial game mode, because soul sprint is like our intro game mode. It doesn't have any like stats or like abilities or anything like that. It's just a straight A to B sprint. But we have the other game modes, Fuego Circuits and drag racing, where it's lap racing and then straight drag strip time based. and
Mm-hmm.
you're facing against other people, so it's highly competitive. And all of our vehicles have different stats like speed boosts and stuff like that. And so depending if you have a good vehicle or not, it will depend on how fast you go. And even if you have a fast vehicle, you could still lose to somebody who has a small vehicle just because it's very competitive with those lap turns and stuff like that. And so we just to put together season 1 and put together what we call competitive points, which are points that they earn specifically playing during that time frame. And
Mm-hmm.
whoever has the most of those points at the end of the season wins a unique. And we wanted to be a game that gave away uniques, because the first event that Vroomway ever did was our Grand Prix, where it was like a huge community event, and we gave away 3 unique helmets. And those helmets got honored and grandfathered into the game after it was made. And they come with unique vehicles. Nobody else has those vehicles. It's just those 3 people, and they're each different too from each other. They're one of one all the way through. And so ever since the first season that was really successful, people really wanted to compete for that unique, because there's not very many ways to get a free unique wearable in Decentraland. So getting a free helmet and it's unique, one of one, you're the only one on the platform that has it, it's pretty big. And so
Yeah.
every season since then, we've seen an increase of people participating. And this last season was huge. There was a ton of people, a lot more new people that joined and started participating and hit the leaderboards. Have never hit the leaderboards before. So it's been really cool.
Mm, talk to me about utility, because as a creator, like Broomway is just one of your many projects. You're also constantly creating, wearables and stuff.
Yep.
Maybe for some other brands as well.
Yeah.
So talk to me about utility of your wearables versus Broomway, because I've seen and I know, like I ask you this because obviously I know
Yeah.
that some of them do have it, but I would like you to explain those out there
Yeah.
who don't, what that's all about.
Yeah. So I learned very early on that utility made a big difference with wearables, because so I joined in November of 2021, started making wearables in December, and then in January I made over 100 wearables for just random commissions and stuff, because that was like a huge onboarding time for, like, I guess you call them publishers, people who would come in and hire services to make wearables and then sell the wearables as their brand. There was a ton of that going on, and a ton of NFT projects onboarding and stuff, but none of them had like anything of purpose to them. It was more of just like brand exposure, like a marketing effort for them. And while it did great, like on Twitter, it didn't do great in the marketplace. And so I learned when making all these, I was like, okay, I need to not do what these people are doing. And so I just started thinking of ideas. And initially, before Vroomway was even created, I would do things like where my crypto auras, which was my first self-published wearables, those
Mm-hmm.
got you into any of my events for free. If it was like token gated or whatever, you could get in for free by having that wearable. And I wanted to, at the time when I first made those, I wanted to do like drag touring, like doing drag shows and stuff like that, and having those tickets be, or those auras be like the tickets to get in. But then Vroomway happened and kind of took over my life, so that didn't happen. But any event that I had that was token gated, those would work. And then for my more like expensive materials, like the Fashion Week ones, the mythics and stuff that I did, I attached like discounts to other wearables, or like if you got a mythic, if I ever released an epic or a legendary, you got it for free or a discount, stuff like that. And people definitely claimed those when it came around. At first I was like, no, nobody's going to want to claim these because like it's extra work. But no, people were knocking on my DMs whenever I would release something, be like, don't forget to send me something for free. So that was really cool. And I saw that was working. But once I saw like how much support was happening with those mythics, because like it's so hard for a brand new creator to come in and have a sellout, especially like back then when Mana was like doing really, really well. And so to have a sellout and multiple sellouts in 1 week was huge for me. And so I was like, okay, I have to reward these people even more for believing in me, other than just like my discounts and stuff. I need to keep it in mind that like these people are the reason why Vroomway happened, because all of the mana that I made from those sales, I never cashed it out. I literally just turned it right back into investing into Vroomway and making it a thing before the Grand even started. So like our Grand Prix was completely self-funded, which because of the price of mana, it cost a few grand to put on that Grand Prix, just to even rent the land, code it, have the whole experience, invite all the people out, the collaborators, the partners and stuff. So literally all of that was from the community. The community paid for it basically because it wasn't my mana. And so once Vroomway happened, I was like, okay, and now this is a great time to honor them. So anybody who had those 4 mythics from Fashion Week last year, got a free vehicle as basically like a way that they could come and play the game for free and have a complete experience of their own and be one of 10 people that have that vehicle. And those vehicles are still pretty rare because it's rare that we get more than one of them at the scene at one time because they're from all over the world. But it's really cool to see them and have that nostalgic moment and know that they were part of the first people that made Roomwave what it is.
Yeah, that sounds nice. That's like, look, as I haven't published anything that I have made myself, but I did created a like this wearable is a like a gimp skin. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's called a foot lover skin.
I feel like I can see the thumbnail in my brain, but I can't quite make it out.
Yeah, I'll send you one after this is done. It was like for me to like I was looking for something to do that hadn't been done before, right?
Yeah.
So I was like BDSM, there's nothing like that.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. So I do know what it is then. Yep. I know exactly.
Yeah. So it's the one with the ball gag.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I have that one. Yep.
Yeah. So no, but then came like someone else published something that it was just the ball gag and like someone broke it down.
Yeah.
But the original one was a skin.
Yeah.
It had a mask, a bell in your like hanging from your nipples.
Yep. Love that. I remember sending Doki a screenshot of that and being like, look what's finally coming to the marketplace.
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck yeah, let's do this with Cyclopa. With it. It was super fun. So like talk to me about your creative process as far as innovation goes. It's very simple to get into the Decentraland and just start following trends.
Yep.
But it's very hard to get into the Decentraland and in a way setting trends, or changing the status quo with just bringing something new to the table. Like you've been constantly doing it, so that there has to be. I've heard about the good experiences. I know there has to be bad experiences as well.
Oh yes.
but how have them helped you shape yourself as a creator?
So it's hard because I've always been somebody who dances to the beat of my own drum, and I've never been the status quo or normal. And so I've always tried to do things that other people aren't doing, not just to like stand out, but also to just have a different experience. Because we only get one chance at anything that we do in life. And so I always try to do the best that I can in the most creative way that I can. And I did a lot of research into the marketplace, and like, because I was a big wearable lover, I would buy a lot of them. And so I would know what's trendy, what's not trendy, and what people have done and what people haven't done. And I usually just try to go to the routes that people haven't done, to try and like make a presence. So like my biggest thing too is I put a lot of queer culture into what I make. That was one thing that I really wanted to do specifically for Fashion Week this year, is I wanted to have that representation because there's been a lot of trans violence and everything this whole year, just in real life and online. And so I wanted to make it known that like, I'm here, bitch, and I'm not going nowhere. So like, it is what it is. And so I found any way possible I could to up my game of creativity, because like, there's always new tools coming out. There's always better ways to do things. There's always better ways to texture. And so I just leaned on the people that I made friends with and who are better than I am at modeling and texturing and creating and everything, and just learned from them. And I was able to learn Substance, which is like a Adobe product that basically makes you up your level or your texturing level by like tenfold. So instead of using like one texture PNG, you can use as many as you want on one texture. I don't know. It's really nerdy stuff, but it really helps me kind of express myself at the next level and like really bring all of my drawings and stuff that I have been drawing for the last several years, wanting to make these costumes and finally make it a reality. Like, oh my God, I can actually use that material and make it look like that and stuff. And so everything that I did from Fashion Week this year were actually drawings that I had drawn up that I wanted to do for drag. So like I wanted to make real life costumes out of. and one of them was a trans rights. I put trans rights on the back of it, and it has like my Fuego Flame stamp. And for me in my fashion show, that was like a moment of like clapping back at all of the hate, all of the negativity, all of the people that gave me crap the whole last year. You know, when you snowball, like you were saying, like when I was snowballing, there were a lot of people trying to prevent that from happening because people don't like competition, especially in the crypto space. People are so competitive when it comes to generating money or like even just designs and stuff like that. Like if somebody makes one design and it's like a certain category, you can never go in that category ever, in their mind at least. And so anytime somebody does, and they don't even have to do better for them, but just for them even encroaching on their space, they have a negative reaction. And so I just
Remember that leaderboard we mentioned before?
literally, oh, the sales leaderboard is even worse, girl. Like, let me tell you, there's been some drama over the sales leaderboard,
I've seen it as well.
girl.
I stopped right at the edge of the line to see it from there. But oh, it is just crazy
Yeah.
how competitive people are. But in terms of um, let's say your based on what I heard, like I'm just tripping balls right now because it gives me the impression that Fashion Week next year for you it's gonna be an amazing one.
Yes, and I'm definitely gonna focus more on my art and wearables more than I am the fashion show. Because this last year, like, not only did I have the 4 pieces that I put out, but I also had this giant 4x4 fashion show build that I not only built and textured, but I had one of the my good friends that I've made. He used to work at the foundation. His name is Will. He helped me a lot with programming that fashion show to actually work automatically and stuff. And I mean, I probably spent a good couple hundred hours over the course of 3 or 4 months preparing for that fashion show, and most of it was spent on that build. And so while it was great, I really wanted to focus more on my actual wares because they could have I
Hmm.
even though they were great, like as an artist, you know that they could always be better if you just put more time into things. And so I definitely want to do bigger and better things. And this year there might actually be even a unique, my first published unique that I'm going to do. So yeah, I'm really nervous for that because it's only one. Yep.
Fuego year.
Yep.
That's
So
actually pretty dope to hear, Nikki.
Fashion Week's like my favorite holiday ever, both in real life and in Decentraland.
I have to tell you, for me, in the Central End, like I love Music Fest. I gotta
Yeah.
tell you, I
Yep.
love the Music Fest.
Yeah.
But the Fashion Week was like my first big event in the Central End,
Yeah.
and I fucking loved it. Like
Yeah.
emote collecting. Remember, like the first
Oh
time
yeah.
emote
Yep.
collecting,
Yep.
and like you just like Forever 21,
Yep.
catwalk. Oh, it was insane. I was
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I was blown away
mind
last
blown.
year.
Yeah.
Last year, that was my first big event too, because I came after the
You had
Music
your
Fest.
stand. You had like your own
Yep.
like Fuego stand, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
right?
So at the 2022 one, there was a bunch of people that were putting up like builds and stuff and having like creators as spotlights and stuff. And so I got to be a part of that, which I thought then was like, holy crap, like people want me to be in their space. Like that's crazy. And then this year, when Foundation approached me to actually have like a parcel in the actual plaza, I was like, whoa. And then
Whoa.
they gave me a 4x4, which was the biggest that any community member got in the plaza. And I was like, okay, let's go. Like, let's do this. And so I wanted to make sure it was the best. And it was amazing. I'm so, so grateful.
I hope you did at least one happy dance when you got
Oh girl,
that piece of
I
it.
was bawling like a baby the whole time.
Yes, like
Yes. Yeah. It was crazy. It's so like wild to me that this can happen to just anybody, because like I've never been the type of person that has gotten opportunities like this like ever in my life. And so to have all that happen in such a short time and then be in Vogue, Forbes, NBC, like all those articles was literally life changing for me, because I was like, okay, now I know and I have that validation that I could just be myself and it doesn't matter. Like literally just do me, focus on me, and everything else will work out. And it has. It's rough, but it has.
thing is that I think that people reject change.
Yes.
But eventually we all learn sooner or later, in the easy way or in the rough way.
Yep.
We learn that, you know, be like you said, just being unique
Yep.
comes with a price tag,
Yeah.
and not everybody's willing to pay for it. But in the end of the day, your worth is not, it's not coming from your money, it's coming from your talent,
Yep.
like your shine.
Yeah.
And
And it comes from what you put back into yourself too. Like if
yeah,
you're not giving yourself, you're not going to get anything out of it.
exactly. So the way I see it is, right now, it's winter time for the crypto space.
Yep.
There's a lot of negativity. I think that there's a lot of people, I'm gonna include myself there, crypto winter has hurt us. Many of us have
Yep.
a lot of money invested in there,
Yep.
and we're just, sitting, waiting. For some people, maybe they're not taking it good.
No.
But when things were thriving, you couldn't feel these, because
Oh
there
no.
was like 3 times, 4 times more users around.
Yep.
Right now, it has come down to the like Brandon Manos said in his interview, to the bunch of geeks that game on the platform.
Yep.
So it's like divided into small sections, like sections, or
Yeah.
let's say teams. But in the end, we're still here.
Yep.
Like people tend to forget that, like, most of the users left the crypto space because of how things are.
Yeah.
And even if we're here arguing, we all tend to forget that we're all still here. Like, we
Yep.
have that in common.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think it's funny when people fight over stupid shit. When it's like, dude, you're gaming on the same platform. You're equally nerdy.
Right.
Just get over
Right.
it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on in pretty much every corner now. And like you said, because the population is low right now, those voices tend to stick out. But I try to remember the good times when it was drowned out by a whole bunch of positivity and the real WAGMI culture when it was around. And I just look forward to that happening again someday.
Oh, it is still here.
It
You'll
is.
be
It's just very. It's just down here.
you'll be surprised. Look, on the day this airs out, I guarantee you, I give you the Pixelia vouch that your faith in humanity will be restored, and in the
Oh,
Decentraland will be restored.
well, good. It'll
You'll
be good
see.
timing.
Yeah, it's good timing. It's universe talking. So, just to wrap it up, Nikki, this is the Central Games house, right? We're aiding in the casino, and like I always said, there's like two time first time users, like two kinds of first time users. One of
Yeah.
them is the person who arrives to the Central End looking for the casino, and the people who arrives at the Central End trying to figure out what the fuck the Central End is.
Yeah.
The-
Very accurate.
but the casino tends to, like, merge both, because some
Yeah.
of them want to know what the fuck the Central End is, but at the same time they don't want to leave the casino.
Right.
This is why I think it's so important that people get the perspective of the main agents of, let's say, change in the
Yeah.
platform,
Yep.
so that they can see the perspective beyond the casino. So what would be what your words of advice for that first time user would be?
I would say to really just explore as much as you can and really just kind of be open to whatever. Because when I first joined Decentraland, I was all about just hanging out at Wondermine. And like, I thought that was like the peak of the platform, which is still like a great place to hang out and meet new people. But when you explore and you go and find these other places that you didn't know existed, it just kind of like opens up that inspiration of what could happen or what this platform could really be. Especially now, because there's 10 times more things to do now than there was when I first joined. And so just really go to all of the places in the POIs, go to all the places in the discovery board, and just try everything, because you never know what you're going to stumble upon. You never know what community you're going to run into. I kind of found a community in Dollhouse and a bunch of other these party venues of just people who genuinely support you for you. And that alone is going to make you feel better when you lose all your chips at the casino like I do.
Let me
Yeah.
just touch a very sensitive.
I am not a good poker player.
Topic on me. Pepe has been killing me. I have him on timeout. I'm not even playing poker for the past week. Like, I'm so pissed. It is just how it is, Nikki.
It's literally me.
I wanna thank you for being here, Nikki, today. You've been an amazing guest to have, and we're honored to have you here. Thank you for being around, and I hope you have an amazing day. I hope that you keep doing what you're doing. You're bringing a lot to the space, and in behalf of those who appreciate that, I want to thank you. Okay.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me, and thank you for being a voice for the people and showing people what is more to the platform than poker and Wondermine.
Well, someone has to, because otherwise we would, if someone didn't do it for me, I would still be hanging in just Wondermine in the casino.
Yeah, right.
So,
well, good on you for
thank you as
continuing
well.
that.
Yeah, I have Sinful to thank for that, and RT. So
Love them.
yeah, you have a good one, Nikki.
You too.
It's been
Thank
great
you.
having you here, girl.
No
Bye-bye,
problem.
okay?
Anytime. Okay.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.